Trump and his departure, leaving to go back to Washington to talk Middle East. Global's Reggie Cecchini joins us now with more on Trump's decision to return to Washington. Reggie.
Hey there, Carolyn and Jeff. Good morning. We saw the press secretary put a statement out last night suggesting that tensions in the Middle East were causing Donald Trump to depart the G7 early once again from Canada. And then on Air Force One, we heard from Donald Trump suggesting that not only is the situation increasing, arguing that the attacks from Israel onto Iran are going to also continue for the time being. We also heard from Iranian officials that a volley of missiles was set to hit into Israel at some point earlier today. All of this kind of begs the question, where is this going to go from here, and what is Donald Trump's involvement going to be? We know that there is a meeting for the National Security Council set to take place on Tuesday morning at the White House as they try to figure out what their next step forward is. The United States is actively trying to not get pulled into a war in the Middle East once again. Donald Trump has repeatedly said he does not like the idea of foreign wars. The issue is the United States has the technology that Israel would need to end Iran's nuclear program, and the question is, will the United States assist in some way? We know that there's been some repositioning of American assets in the region in case things escalate further and put a direct target on these American assets, which the Secretary of State has urged Iran not to undertake. As of right now, Donald Trump says that he is not looking for a ceasefire. He is looking for an actual end. We just don't know what it's going to take to get to that end.
All right. Meanwhile, Trump cutting his visit short here to Canada, but Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, Reggie, seems to be pleased with the progress that was made between our two countries when it comes to a trade deal. What more can you tell us there?
Yeah, look, the word fantastic was used yesterday by Carney when talking about a meeting with Donald Trump. We've heard from the president suggesting that Mark Carney has brought forward some kind of idea here for a trade deal that may be a little more complex than just the average tariff that Donald Trump would use, but neither side is really giving any information on that. In the weeks leading up to the G7, Canadian officials were a little more bullish on some kind of deal being potentially reached here. But we understand now from the White House that there could be a 30-day deadline that's been put in place for both countries to try and reach some kind of framework or some kind of agreement. Again, it becomes a question of, will this take place? We know the United Kingdom and the United States signed a trade agreement at the G7 here, but many of the goalposts move for many of the other countries that are actively trying to seek out a deal with Donald Trump. And the end of the pause for reciprocal tariffs is coming up in just a couple of weeks. So there is a more firm deadline for Ottawa and Washington to do something. The question is, what happens when that deadline comes? If there's not a deal, is it extended or is there friction?
All right. Reggie Cecchini in Washington for us. Thank you.